What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here. So in this video, I wanted to go over all the quality of life changes that Bungie has made in the year of Lightfall. Lightfall gets a very bad rap because the campaign was shit. Like, the gameplay was fine and Strand was really fun, in my opinion. But people that care about the lore and the story found it very underwhelming, which I understand. I don't really play the game for the story, but I've watched all the Bife videos and I totally get where people are coming from. Like, they dropped a huge story beat in the middle of a random season in like the summer, detailing like what the Veil was. So in my opinion, Lightfall just gets a super bad rap because of that. But this year has been the best year we've ever had of Destiny. And I just have some little notes beside me, just going over all the quality of life changes that they've made this year to kind of back up my argument. Because for players of the game, like, I just play this game to play it. I don't really care about the story all that much. This has truly been the best year, and I will detail a whole bunch of the quality of life changes that they've made. I wanted to do like a nicely edited version of this and like splash up the like screenshots from the TWAB and stuff where it says, oh, we're making this change. But I don't have time to do that, so this is totally unscripted, and I've just got some little bullet points beside me that I want to talk about. So the very first is the mod changes. So I'm going to bring up, this is just an old video I had. I'll mute it. So look, I have an arc chest piece, and then I've got arc legs for radiant light. So this is the old mod system, and I know a lot of people miss this mod system. And look, I have a solar mark, and I think I have like a void helmet on this, void gloves, arc helmet, that's chest piece. Anyways, so yeah, this system was good. Don't get me wrong. I loved the things you could do with this system, but it was very cumbersome because you basically had to have armor in arc, solar, and void affinities. And I think stasis was in there as well. And then, so that would kind of screw up your stats because it's like, oh, I want to run this for the stats, but I have to run it because it's arc. And anyways, it was just very convoluted, very crappy system. This is why I don't like doing things unscripted. It wasn't a crappy system. Like I said, I loved it, but it was not new player friendly whatsoever. And like I said, it was just very convoluted and it required you to hold a lot of armor. So now we have this more simplified one. And yeah, they also changed artifice armor, which was nice. Now you just get a little stat bump instead of an extra artifact mod. So that's another thing we can talk about is the artifact. You used to have to pay Glimmer to reset this, and the cost would go up every time, which was completely antithetical to promoting build crafting. It pissed me off. I made a video of it back when my channel was super small. It got no traction, but I just had to vent because it was so stupid. It's like, oh, I want to use this thing. Okay, well, pay 50,000 Glimmer. And it used to cost money, now that I'm saying that, to change your artifact mods. So if I wanted Harmonic Loader, I would have to pay like 500 Glimmer to do that. So they've done away with that. They've really embraced build crafting. And now, as you can see here, I've got Suppressing Glaive on my mark. Looks like Oppressive Darkness and whatever the heck this was. Some void one, it looks like. So anyways, I had 3 artifact mods on my mark, and if we look at a bond, now there's no artifact mods. So now you have more mods because the artifact is just like a passive upgrade in the background, which, yes, it's contributed to power creep, but it's also made like the gameplay experience so much better and more fluid. If you remember champion stunning things like Unstoppable Hand Cannon or whatever would go on your gloves. So you could pretty much never run things like Impact Induction or Bolstering Detonation, stuff like that, because it would always take up room. It was a reason why the only thing I ever really cared about was Artifice Armor gloves, because then it would free up a mod slot. I never really cared about Artifice Armor because before this I was like, well, whatever. I'd still rather have the better stat stuff because it's not like I'm always using the artifact mods in their place. But anyways, so that is another thing that has been just an excellent quality of life change. Super, super nice. So yeah, they've really streamlined that. And another thing that they streamlined is weapon crafting. So if you remember, back in the day, you used to have to, I can't remember what it was called, but you'd get a red border, and then you actually had to get a whole bunch of kills with it so you could extract its, whatever that word was called. You had to extract its thing, and then that would give you a currency, which would take up a bunch of room in here. And there was just so many currencies. It was just currency overload. It was crap. And you weren't even playing the game much. You'd just get a red border and then you'd go to Shuro-chi. Like, what kind of fun gameplay loop is that? Now you can like get progress. So say I ran this Supremacy in a Nightfall, I'd get like 30% bonus right there. But they've added this, so now I can just increase the weapon level. So now when you unlock a pattern, you can just come here and just upgrade it, and then you can buy your enhanced traits right away. So they've completely streamlined everything about crafting. The whole crafting debate we can get into in a different video. I'm not really going to go there. I've got my own thoughts, so maybe I will make a video on it. But the point is, crafting is better than it's absolutely ever been. It launched in a pretty piss poor state, to be honest. I don't know what Bungie's love of currency is, but while we're talking about currency, they are doing better and have done a good job of getting rid of useless currency. So here's one. Finest Matter Weaves. You used to have to consume this, and then you'd go kill enemies, and then they'd have a chance to drop an enhancement core. Now you can just straight up turn these in. Same with Rainmakers. It was like the same thing. Now you can just turn these in. I probably should have turned them in a while ago, but I haven't. And speaking of currencies again, these used to be held at 10. And granted, you could hold some in the Postmaster for like the sweaty players. So you could hold up to 40 in your post. But how many times have we lost 10 stacks in our Postmaster because our Postmaster was full? I know it's happened to me a lot. It happened to me recently. Because I was holding some still from way back before they made this change, and I just lost them when I was turning in all my engrams at a vendor. But it doesn't matter. Now you can hold 30, which is so nice because it costs like 3 to upgrade an armor piece. So before, when you could only hold 10, so say a new season drops and there's 3 new armor pieces, you go from 10 to 1 in a day when you unlock your armor pieces. That's crap. So now we got 30. Again, I still don't like currency caps. I think it's stupid. I know they're getting rid of legendary shards and, again, trying to streamline the stupid amount of currencies we have. But it is what it is. So, again, a very nice quality of life change. Deep sight harmonizers. Now they're making it a little easier to get our red borders so that we can craft. And then we've got this engram tracker. Again, just a nice quality of life thing. It shows where all your engrams are. And speaking of these engrams, you used to just turn them in and just hope for a random drop. And then we got focused decoding. Or was it an upgrade path and like once you hit it, it just dropped a random thing? I'm trying to remember now. But anyways, now we have focused decoding. And so I can take this Vanguard engram. Say I had a bunch. I only have 2 right now because I've been trying to get everything ready for Lightfall. But anyways, I could focus whatever I want just for Glimmer and some Vanguard engrams. So that's been a huge quality of life change. And they've done that even with the Gunsmith. And they've done it at Shaxx, at Drifter. And you used to not be able to focus the new weapons. So say you wanted like a Breakneck from Drifter, but you'd have to wait till the season after it was released. Now you can just get it right away. Now we can also do materials exchange. So they got rid of another currency. I don't have any in here, but it was the planetary currency. So now when you pick up like Dusklight shards on EDZ, it'll just give you Glimmer, I believe. But it used to give you an actual currency in your inventory, and before it was actually how you like upgraded stuff. Man, all the stuff that's coming back to me right now. So I can't exactly remember. It was Infusion. So that's another thing. Upgrade modules. So now you just buy upgrade modules, but before, say you wanted to infuse like a Riptide, your favorite Riptide, it would cost like Burying Bow or a certain currency. So if you were always upgrading something that you liked, it would cost like a lot of one currency. So you could have like 1 million Dusklight shards, but you're broke on Burying Bows because the weapons that you like are all tied to Burying Bows. So they got rid of that and just did the upgrade modules. And again, this could have been in Witch Queen, but again, I wanted to make like a comprehensive video on all the quality of life changes, but a lot of these have just been since Lightfall and why the game is better than it's ever been. So that's another thing. We got these upgrade modules. And then when you had those currencies, you could trade them in at Rahul. And then again, so I'm always swimming in enhancement prisms. They're useless to me. So I can turn them in for Ascendant Shards or Ascendant Alloy, where not that long ago, Ascendant Alloy were really hard to get, or you could just buy like one a week. And now you can buy a bunch. And then again, just more materials exchange, just super, super nice quality of life. There was something else I was going to talk about when I was talking about something else that it reminded me. But anyways, we can go back to this part for a second. So stunning champions. So for a long time, people complained about the lock and key kind of dilemma that champions provided, because you couldn't deal with them without running like one of these 5 perks. So you were really limited in your loadout to what weapons you could run. So this season, we do have Overload Rocket Launcher, but there's no, I guess there is Indebted Kindness and Forerunner and Buried Bloodline. So we do have special sidearms, but that's besides the point. These are basically all primary weapons. So you used to have to run double primary loadouts, especially if you were a solo player. And then one of the biggest changes that they made in Lightfall was all our verbs, like Radiant. So if you're Radiant, you can stun barrier shields. And then if you cause an ignition, that will stun unstoppables. Actually, I believe, yeah, so it shows it right here. So arc, blind effects, all these things are tied to your subclass. I've literally beaten GMs with people where I wasn't running any of these weapons so that I could stun champions, because I could just rely on my subclass to do so. Stasis is really good because you've got slow and you've got freeze, and they kind of deal with both things. And then if you were quick enough to get a freeze, you could actually prevent a barrier champion from putting its shield up. Like, this is one reason why Chill Clip Riptide was so good. So anyways, that's just another quality of life change that came only in Lightfall. I know it seems like we've had it for a long, long time now, but it was just over a year ago that we got that change, and that completely opened up build loadouts. Because again, you were so pigeonholed before, and now you can run damn near anything you want. Also, the artifact has improved a lot over this season, I've noticed, especially this season. You used to have these 2 columns, and they were practically useless. It was like, has a chance to drop Glimmer on a kill, and like legitimately useless artifact perks. So GG's there. And then just speaking more to gameplay, another thing that opened up loadouts huge was they got rid of match game. And again, this can go into power creep, but it does allow you to run way more weapons. So my vault is full of like an arc SMG, a solar SMG, a void SMG, because I like having that variety and stuff. But you really, if there was Overload SMG or something on, you could get away with Callous Mini Tool for an entire season, just because you don't have to switch things anymore, because we don't have match game. So that's been a big change. And speaking of match game, another thing they changed was the shields. That's just a minor like visual thing, but just another quality of life thing that they did. And another thing they did is they made some reticle changes. I don't have a Sheora's Wrath, but Sheora's has like this cool new reticle. And then if I had Ace of Spades, you can actually see how many Memento Mori bullets are on your Ace of Spades on the reticle. And same with something like Grand Overture, you can see like how loaded it is. And just all these little visual things on your reticle, that came in the Season of Lightfall as well. And they're also making changes to our UI in Final Shape, which will be really, really nice, because right now the left side of your screen just gets super bogged down with like, you've got restoration and you got all these things. So they're changing that. So that's going to be really good. Another thing that they changed is there's no more physics deaths. So that has been huge in like solo dungeons, because how many times have you been like soloing a dungeon and you fall and you just die to fall damage? I remember I was soloing Insight Terminus one time, and there's that little jump down right before boss room. And in GMs, you would like take more damage even on your fall damage. So I didn't even fall that far, and I broke my legs and died. And the same thing happened to me in the solo Lightblade as well. Falling down into boss room, I was on a Titan. I hit my like strafe glide thing, and it didn't catch, and I broke my legs and died. Now, no more physics deaths. So that's huge. I want to talk about Trials for a second, because I've been playing Trials since it came out. Every time like there's a new weapon, I just like filling up my collections. Like you can see I have almost every gun. There's some older ones that for some reason I didn't get in year 1. But for the most part, I try to get like every adept and whatever. And trials used to be hellishly unrewarding. If you didn't win, like you'd get a reward at 3 wins, 5 wins, 7 wins, and the lighthouse. That was it. I'm not joking. That was it. So if you couldn't hit 3 wins in an entire weekend, you were fucked. You got nothing for your time. Now, at the bare minimum, you'll be getting some rank, and then you get these engrams every time you go up another rank. And then again, we've got the focus decoding. We've got the reward path. Like, trials has been made so much more rewarding. And they put in the solo playlist, which, again, we're not going to debate that here. But for me, I really like it, actually. I tend to only go flawless solo. And then once I get that, sometimes I'll farm with my friends. But yeah, I just like kind of playing the game solo. So for me, it's nice. And I guarantee it increases the player population for trials. Oh, the seasonal upgrade table. So I'm not at the helm, but we all know that there used to just be a very basic like 4x6 grid, and you would unlock things week by week. And it was very formulaic and very predictable. And in the year of Lightfall, they've done a pretty good job of mixing up like how we upgrade at, say, Riven for Season of the Wish. And just, yeah, seasonal content in general has just gotten better. Season of the Deep wasn't my favorite season, but that 3-player mode where you had like some random upgrades, the roguelike stuff, that's kind of what started it. And then they had the cards in Season of the Witch. Yeah, like that deck of cards thing that would give you some modifiers, and then you can purchase them in the coil. So they've been doing a good job there. Another huge one, again, maybe not so much for hardcore players, but Fireteam Finder has been... There's still some things that aren't like the best about it, like just how when you're trying to make the fire team, it like boots you all and then brings you all back together. It's a little bit cumbersome, but for the most part, like what I've been doing, I'll just do Onslaught. I'm not going to actually launch it, but yeah, you can just pick Onslaught, and then you can go, maybe it's, yeah. So right here you can go, sorry, I did search. I need to do create. So what I would do is I'd go Onslaught, I'd go Legend, and then there's this auto join or application required. So you can kind of filter who you want there based on like their loadout or whatever. So this has been really good. And I know most of us, or most of my friends anyways, we're used to using the third-party apps. But I guarantee for the casual, like for the first 2 years I played this game, or maybe, no, I guess first 6 months I played this game, I didn't know about like the app and stuff. And then I was always adding players to my friends list back when I was on PlayStation so that I could raid with them. And now it's like you could just search whatever the heck activity you want to run and just go pick it. Like, oh geez, they even got Pantheon in here. Like, huge for the general player base this has been. So in-game LFG, massive. And another thing that's been massive is in-game loadouts. So these came in Lightfall as well. And yeah, I can just... So I do like using them for hot swap to like optimize things, but right now I just have like my favorite build set up in here, just because dim's slow sometimes. But yeah, I can just hot swap to like any of my favorite builds, and they're just like boom, ready to go at the drop of a hat. And it changes the fashion too. Like, what a great change this has been. So props on the in-game loadouts. It's also made soloing dungeons a lot easier, and like speed running so much easier, because speedrunners used to like have everything in their inventory and they'd quickly swap. Now they just boom, swap to that. So yeah, it's helped everyone at every level. Like the more casual player base will probably have it set up like I do, just get their 10 builds that they like. But then the hardcores, they'll have like presets for, yeah, dungeons, raids, whatever. So in-game loadouts has been huge. And then, oh yeah, I didn't show it when I was over at Rahul, but you can also like focus exotics now. It's kind of pricey if I recall. I think you need like an exotic cipher. But if we go over here, so you can go to him, and then like whatever exotic you want, you can just, oh fuck. This is what I meant to go to. I didn't want to use up an exotic engram. I'm trying to bank those for the new season. Will this just acquire it? You'd think there would be a hold down. I'm too scared to push it. Oh my god. So yeah, like when you delete things, there's usually like, it goes like that. So maybe that's something they can add so you don't accidentally misclick and do what I just did in this video. So I just wasted 2 shards and both my exotic engrams on this character. So that kind of sucks. So just be careful when you're clicking that. But whatever. I think my Cenotapht's good. I'll have a look after this video. But yeah, so again, there's probably so many quality of life changes that I'm missing. That's why I wanted to go through all the TWABs and stuff, but I'm very busy and I just don't have time to, or even do like a really edited video. But I did just want to give my thoughts on how Destiny has improved immensely over this year. Oh, there's one more huge change that I have to talk about actually. Actually, I'll go to my vault to show it. 600 space is nice and we're getting 700, but I just want you to look at my vault and like, look at this. Other than like the sunset stuff, every single thing in here is either 1800 or 1810. So up until Lightfall, every fucking season, I was always broke on legendary shards because I'm kind of like, I'm a little bit OCD and I like all my stuff leveled up to max because I like having, it's why I keep so much armor too, because I like having really nice stat distributions for like all my builds. And I didn't farm the Artifice armor when Master Duality was dropping like the most cracked stuff. I was busy with work, so I couldn't farm it. And I was like, whatever, I can just farm it another time. No, turns out all the Artifice armor from Masters that they've released since doesn't really drop much past like 65, where back then people were getting like Artifice with cracked spikes at like 68. But anyways, I digress. Every season, I would spend literally hundreds and hundreds of upgrade modules to get all my stuff at 1810. And you can see pretty much everything I own is 1810. And it has been for a long time because ever since Lightfall, you're able to hit 1810 and we haven't had to go up in power since each season. Some people, this blows my mind. This was like something people are happy about, and now people are like, oh, well, I kind of miss it because it would get my friends on to raid and make them do Gambit and stuff. It's like, okay, well, you can still go do that, and if you're not going to do that, then that means the only reason you were running it in the first place was to make number go up, because otherwise you could just get your friends on to do that stuff. So anyways, for me, that was literally my favorite change of Lightfall, was the no more increasing the gear score after the first season, because all my stuff has been 1810 for like months and months and months. I've been swimming in legendary shards. Like I've had way more. I turned in a whole bunch of phantasmal fragments at the moon. But yeah, so that's been huge. And then another thing they're bringing is Fireteam like light level. I can't remember what they call it, but basically it's like a Fireteam gear score or power score. So if you're a hardcore and you're at 1840 like me, you can bring your friends into that activity and they will be a little lower. But basically I could take a friend through a Grandmaster or through something that's like at the highest light level required, and we could just play it and have fun together, even though his gear score is low, because it goes by the gear score of the highest person in the fire team. So that's coming in final shape. So I guess I can't really credit it to Lightfall. But again, it's just going to show that like Lightfall has truly been the year of the quality of life, and people can bitch about the campaign all they want. But for me, I play the campaign 3 times. Actually, I skipped it on one character so that I could make a video on it, which is why I bought the silver when it was on sale as well. Because it was on sale, and again, I'm kind of OCD, so I might as well get the most bang for my buck, so I bought the biggest package. But anyways, I plan on probably skipping one of the Lightfall campaigns. We'll see how it plays out. But that's another thing with the Lightfall campaign. They said that it'll drop, basically when you finish the campaign, you'll pretty much be at the power floor, like the soft cap, and then that is going to be account wide. So that's another thing they're doing, is they're making power level like account wide, not just character. So a lot of people do have trouble maintaining 3 characters, lots of my friends included. But now the gear, so if I'm getting 1810 on here, but my hunter's only 1790, it'll be dropping at a higher gear score on my hunter now than it would be, because my highest character on my account is 1810. So it goes by your account high gear, not your character's highest gear. So just another awesome quality of life change that they're making. Again, I know there's probably some that I missed in here, but this video's rambling on because I just keep remembering things. So I'm probably just going to cut it there. But yeah, anyways, like I was saying about the campaign, I do appreciate a good campaign. I loved Witch Queen. It was awesome. But I'll be honest with you, other than doing like the master campaign mission solo just for the triumph or whatever, I haven't gone back to play a campaign. I don't play the game for campaigns. I like dungeons. Raids are fun. I like soloing GMs. I play for the gameplay, not the story and not the campaign. So while I appreciate a good campaign, I don't think having a shitty campaign like Lightfall has very much bearing on how the rest of the year of Lightfall played out. The seasons pretty much only got better and better. I think Season of the Witch was awesome. I think Season of the Wish was awesome. They're doing great things with loot drops as well. The coil gives better and more rewarding loot than any seasonal activity we've ever had. And then Pantheon also gives better loot than anything we've ever had. Like the amount of spoils you get is crazy, and you get like adept raid weapons, and you can they're dropping red borders. That's another thing. Red borders more frequently drop, just to go back to the weapon crafting thing. Red borders are dropping more frequently than they used to. They used to be like really hard to get, and it was really hard to get a pattern. And again, we're not going to go into the debate on whether it's good or bad, but yeah. Anyways, I could go on. I'll just finally, like I said, stop it. But yeah, Lightfall has been great. The game is only getting better, and I'm super excited for Final Shape because, yeah, all these quality of life changes has been awesome for a long time player like me. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Thanks for watching, and take care.